Okay, Joseph.
Okay.
So, when was Albert Einstein born?
He was born in the 19th century, and his greatest work developed when he was in his 20s. But his professors, his teachers, considered him to be a lazy dog, that he was not going to become anything unless he did some hard work. But Einstein was a very individual thinker, and he took his own time. So his greatest years were in 1904, 1905. So he would have been already 25 years old at that point, 26. And he was working in Berlin in his early time, and he made friends with a very powerful editor of a journal, a famous professor, who understood the work that Einstein was doing. So Einstein's first great development was the idea of special relativity, and that is looking at it in a single dimension. And it has to do with the fact that measurements are relative depending upon the speed, the velocity at which the observer is moving compared to what he's referring to.
Wait, pause.
There were several papers in that time period. So he discovered the photoelectric effect. That is the fact that light can affect electrons, can cause electrons to be emitted from a material. And that was perhaps that's really why he got the Nobel Prize, was for that piece of work, which came, of course, later. But the relativity stuff is what we think of him for today, because he brought about a revolution in how we think about the physical universe. And the general theory of relativity took him another 10 or 15 years to work on before he was fully ready for it. And the point about general relativity is now you're looking at all the dimensions, and what you observe in effect is that there is a kind of a time distortion around massive bodies, so that the gravitational fields affect this relativity of measurement, and so you have this peculiar view of the universe, kind of like a dimpled, many-dimensional universe. And of course he's famous for recognizing that time can be considered as the fourth dimension. So his work really gave rise to a new way of looking at where the Newtonian, this good old man Newton from over 200 years before him, who had perceived the basic laws of physics as we know them. And now this relativity allowed a new structure for thinking about these ideas. So Einstein went from Germany to Switzerland, and his great developments were actually while he was working for the patents office. So he was writing patents for people, and this allowed his mind freedom to think about what he really wanted to do, which was this basic physics. And as that work continued and his reputation grew, he attracted great scientists to him. And one of these was Bose, B-O-S-E, which my companion will talk about in a second, has a very different pronunciation, Indian. Bose was a physicist, mathematician, and if you've heard the word boson, it's these elementary particles that make up the atom, which under very low temperatures behave like a gas. And Bose and Einstein together worked on the structure of those equations. So the Bose-Einstein equations are very famous, and they really break through into the new applications of atomic physics into the kinds of fields that we are very popular today. So we are very fortunate to have Professor Ganguly with us, who is the third or fourth generation of academics from Einstein. Einstein worked with Bose. Bose worked with Bob's supervisor when he was doing his PhD, and so I guess that's third generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you tell us about Bose?
Okay. So my supervisor was Dr. Banerjee, Professor Banerjee. So I worked with him in the different projects of especially on the environmental projects and the sustainable development and the energy, non-conventional energy in the different projects. And his master was Professor Bose, who is famous with the Bose-Einstein's equation. And I'm really fortunate that I can remember those things when I was in India doing my research work, right, with the great scientists here. Yeah. And you want to talk about the inventions, Roger? So,
would you like him to talk about the next generation of inventions? Yes.
Okay, so so especially that Roger can tell one by one that I have this regarding my patents and something, then I'll show.
Yes. I forget how many actual patents. You have over 100 inventions.
I have many inventions and 14 patents.
So what is this?
It is a special system, special type of gas purifier to control the toxic gases comes out from the engines, from the automobile, from the any kind of automobile, any kind of engines, for the cars, from anything, forklifts,
trucks,
dumpers, trucks, everywhere, and it changes the total chemistry of the from the non-toxic gases just changes to the non-toxic, which is good for the environment. So to set to control the pollution control from the different, so
it takes out the nitrogen oxides and
NOx, hydrocarbons, especially it controls this technology, and it is being used by many multinational companies, different around the world, and our manufacturing company, it is based in India, and but we are working, so we are working around the world different. We are trying to promote in North America and others. This is one invention, measure these things, and also it has a 3 different applications of that, especially in this kind of technology. Yeah. So it has from the ignition system to the first stage of the catalytic things, these things, and finally also control of the carbon dioxide also. There's a three stages of this work I did, and also that other some what is available in my hand, so we can show that this machine. This
purifying the air inside the room. So what he's doing is taking out the over 130 different toxic elements that are present in a typical office room like this. And basically he uses a living filter to, he passes the air through the system, and it, the microbes associated with the living surfaces detoxify. And so it's a very appropriate invention for the current world with all our pollution problems.
For the inside any building, as well as for the hospitals, inside the hospitals, and where inside the there's a sick buildings, inside the submarines, inside the aircraft, everywhere. This is very appropriate because of most of the toxic gases, over 130, 100 what Roger mentioned, that all the time we are breathing. This is not good for our health. So for the health cause, so this is the most important invention.
So talk about
the work that we do, that especially that for the tropical countries, such as because for the environment, which is very there's a warm environment, and we normally use the air conditioner and these things, but we have the, I think, technology and the development for the vertical forestry, vertical garden, and rooftop gardens. So Roger, you can tell.
So one of the big problems is to prepare cities for climate change, and you can cool a city by rooftop gardens, but most of all by the wall gardens. And we did one experiment here on the roof and showed that we could reduce the temperature 15 centimeters above the roof from close to 50 degrees centigrade to close to 20 by using a closed canopy of shrubs. So we installed shrubs and we did controlled tests, and that's the result. It's 30-degree centigrade saving because of the natural cooling property that plants have. So if you do that we did it on a 45-degree slope roof. You can do it on a vertical, south or west facing surface of a building. You can develop green screens for windows, which you can change the angle of the louvers so that you can let more light in or make it cooler. So the technology is unlimited. Now it depends upon the architects and the engineers to make the buildings, to refit cities like Toronto or Bob's hometown,
Calcutta.
Calcutta.
also in other different countries, in Kabul, Afghanistan, why not? So any part of the world that we can, this technologies can be used around the world. So these are very economical and very non-toxic. This is a real environment. These are the real green technologies that what we are working for many years. We started at the University of Toronto, that when I came as a postdoctoral fellow, and we set up the international innovation projects there, and from that time we are working still now. Now we set up this Nobel Institution for Environmental Peace, and we set up a new international university in order to educate students and scholars around the world, give them the education, and the students, they come around the world, different countries, right? And the lady, she's Gabriela. You can take she comes from Mexico, and she's an undergraduate student, and she's working in some scientific projects, and so we have many students around the world.
Yes.
They come.
You will be our fourth generation from Einstein,
yes.
and you become our student.
Yeah, so that you should be, and others, your fellow school, colleagues, they will also join in our projects and programs in order to become the real scientist. That's what we want to say. That the real scientist means the scientists who have the application and they can change. They can change the world.
Yes.
To
And another one of Einstein's friends was unfortunately he died a couple of years ago. Professor Rotblat.
Joseph Rotblat. Professor Joseph Rotblat.
Another physicist.
Yeah.
Another nuclear physicist. That he was asked to join the Manhattan Project to produce the bomb.
The atom bomb.
Atom bomb, yeah.
Yeah. And of course Einstein and Bertrand Russell and Rotblat and others recognized what would happen, the pollution and the dangers from this weapon. And they signed a petition asking the politicians not to do it. When Rotblat heard that the German side were not developing the atom bomb, he resigned and spent the rest of his life working on the peaceful uses of the atom. So one of the applications, of course, of Einstein's theory that matter and energy have a close relationship, and he wrote the equation, was the development of the atom. And Rotblat spent the rest of his life applying it to things like cancer in hospitals in London, England. But we went to see him. Bob could talk about it.
Actually, he was a great scientist and physicist, and and he invited us personally to visit his house at the Ashmara Road in London. So Roger and myself, so we went there. And we also took it should be this last video that we took there at his house, and he was just gave the interview and talked about the projects, and he really loved our project, what we are doing for the environmental peace concept. And he said, I have always the best wishes with me, whether I am alive or I am not. So all the time I am with you. And that was a great blessing of Professor Joseph Rotblat, and he was also a Nobel laureate, but he awarded Nobel laureate in peace for the peaceful application.
Yeah. Because of the organization that he ran.
That is the Pugwash International.
Yeah.
Pugwash International he founded, and that's a very famous organization, peace organizations, branches, different countries.
Yes. We have a journal called the Journal of Environmental Peace, and so he was one of the founder members of that board. And we have
also a
5,
review,
yeah.
Environmental Peace Review. That is also written by the students, scholars, and so we also encourage the school students also that they can also write some article or something becoming for it's a kind of good ambitious thing, and it will be published from the library of the Toronto University, and so that will be a good thing for their first work there. So they can also invite to write, under the supervision of the teachers, right, and the things. So thank you very much for coming here for the interview. So
so the work carries on.
So that
we salute the next generation.
Salute the next generation. And time to time, all the time, you are most welcome. So already you become a volunteer for our international projects. When you have time, come here and to talk with the other student members, and then we can set up some projects for you. You can do work, whatever the scientific projects or the social project, whatever you like. So you can work together. Thank you very much.
Is the light's too bright behind you, Bob? All you get is a profile.
Okay, so that's yours?
Yes, and Roger's.
That's a picture of me on a bad day. But the artist is another physicist.
Yes.
He's a very interesting. He uses very non-linear perspectives in his and you'll notice that there's a twist to the body, and even a spiral structure in the head, and the entire thing has multiple spiral structures. So this perspective is a non-linear. So it's a new kind of art.
New kind of art you developed.
Yeah, his name is Bondarenko.
Vladimir Bondarenko.
دستشون صاف میشه ازش پیش بر بانشون صاف شد. اینی هم دیویدی ریکوردر خودم از فیلم مارکت داشتم. دینی مردکه اونمی همیشه که میبرید. تمام سیما از اینی رو بند کرد دیویدی رو انداخت صاف شد.
از او بخوام.
اون از اینی سیما رو کلش دنی انداخت.
نمیتونی چیزی
دیگه کارش کنیم خلاص یاد میگیریم کلش صاف میکنیم. ما تو مشکل نداره.
برو صوت کردم برایش نبود
نه که پیش خود این خالی شد کلشون این یار اتفاق بود این دشت چیز نیست
چیزی هم هست چیزی هست برای خوش سیت میشه
ای 2000
چی شده نمیده خیلی کارت زمان دکر
کل کارت ها ریجا مونده
نه او کارت رو چی رو میکنم
همینجاست
نه کارت دیگه
نه من میخوام کل کارت ها رو همینجا آوردم
کارت از اونو باربیکیو رو میکنم
امو رو همینجا آوردم نامش چی بود؟ دان دان
Yes, good morning. May I speak with Mr. Don, please? My name is Golan. Okay, thank you. Yes, hi, Mr. Don. How are you? My name is Golan. I was there a few times to fix my hot dog cart. Can you give me number for Joseph? I lost this number. One who's repairing the hot dog carts.